So this one gets a little more complicated when you start to think about how do I sell and buy simultaneously once you know, all right, these are my numbers and this is what I want to buy. And I would love to say that it's a perfect science on how to go about doing that, but really it's a little more art than it is science. And the reason for that is there's several scenarios depending on my customer and their comfort level with the different ways to go about doing this. But for example, one scenario, which is a very conservative scenario, is to go ahead and put your home on the market, get a contract on it, close it, get the money in the bank, and go find a temporary place to rent for a certain period of time, whether that's an Airbnb for a short time or doing a 1-year lease. When you do your transaction like that, then you know how much money you have to work with, and you have all the time in the world to go find the house you want to buy. The negative to that is you have to move twice. So not everybody really loves that idea of selling and then buying at a later date. Another scenario that a lot of people would consider would be trying to see if they could qualify to buy without selling their home. That can be a little concerning, puts a little fear sometimes of what happens if I have double mortgage payments? And that's a reasonable concern. So what we usually try and do is look at average days on market, come up with a really aggressive pricing strategy so that we know that if we put the home on the market, it is going to sell in a shorter time frame more aggressively, because we know we have this house out here that we want to buy, and we're very motivated to take advantage of that opportunity. And we don't have to sell. We know that we could, but we don't have to. So that'll allow you the opportunity to go ahead and pick the house that you want, take as much time as you want, the risk being the double mortgage payments once we've identified the house. And then that way we would just go back and put it on the market rather quickly. There are some, I usually pull out a calendar and we map it all out, and that usually helps get some clarity around that process. And as scary as it may sound, it's something we do all the time. So I usually walk my people through it very easily. Another scenario that I have found to be popular that a lot of people consider is trying to get their home on the market. They get a contract, and now with that contract, they feel comfortable going and finding a house and making that contract of the home they're buying contingent on the home they're selling. And depending on the market conditions, that sometimes can work. In a fast-paced market with multiple offers, a lot of sellers don't want to accept a buyer with a contingency contract, but people are still doing that. It's a common theme in the real estate world that you have a house to sell if you're going to buy another one. So we try and minimize the contingencies. So maybe we wait until after home inspection, or that we know it's an appraised, the home is appraised, so that the seller, when we go to put that offer, has less worry and risk that we're not going to be able to sell our house. And ultimately, what I find when you do a scenario like that is challenges will come up along the way, and we just try and find the solution. We're always looking to find the next best step. And I would tell you there's one more scenario that I find with people who are looking to buy and sell simultaneously, and this is the one I usually recommend the least, but we still do it occasionally, and that is to go find the house first, knowing that your home's not even on the market yet, and you find the one you want, and then you got to quickly get your home on the market and get it sold so you can buy it. Of course, the risk in that is the seller of the home you're trying to buy says, come back to me when you have your home on the market, or come back to me when you have a contract on your house. So we may lose that house while we go through that exercise. So some of the things we may do is go ahead and get the photographs done and have the house pretty much ready to hit the market the minute we find the other house. The other possibility on that scenario is that the seller would accept a contingency contract if we tell them that we're going to price it, $5,000 or $10,000 under market, or we might have a buyer lined up ready to go. So there's a lot of ways to make that happen, but it's the most risky because we really don't know what's going to happen on the buy side, if that seller is going to even talk to us, and on the selling side, we haven't started the process yet. But it is one of the scenarios that I have seen people try and do when they're trying to figure out, how do I go about buying and selling simultaneously?